Hey, thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So let's go into the game and let's kind of go talk about a little bit of this game for us.
Sure. So Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle is the game we just announced. We're super happy. We were announcing the game yesterday at the conference, and since then we start to show a bit of the gameplay.
Yep.
So we're super happy to show today more of the basics and combat basics, exploration, and so that's what we're going to do. And in terms of the game itself, so what happened is the Rabbids.
My colleague here, Rich, and we have some friends of ours from Ubisoft, Xavier and Davide. Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So let's go into the game and let's kind of go talk about a little bit of this game for us.
Sure. So Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle is the game we just announced. We're super happy. We were announcing the game yesterday at the conference, and since then we start to show a bit of the gameplay.
Yep.
So we're super happy to show today more of the basics and combat basics, exploration, and so that's what we're going to do. And in terms of the game itself, so what happened is the Rabbids have just been teleported into the kingdom.
A twisted version of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
actually.
and it changed completely the kingdom in itself by twisting it. So you'll have a lot of surprises and elements in the environment, but basically Mario doesn't know anything about the Rabbids when the game starts. So we're still at the beginning of the game here, but basically that's when things start to go a bit crazy with twisted elements. We even have this plant here that's a bit special.
So yes, we tried to recreate a very immersive world by using the misproportion. So you feel that you are small and in a huge environment which is enveloping you. And everything around you is animated. Like, for example, this plant, it's incredible because it's animated by hand, and it's following the music of Grant Kirkhope, which is the composer of the game. So it's one of the things that I love about this game.
It's part of the things that Mr. Miyamoto, Nintendo, and us as well, Ubisoft wanted to see as well, the in terms of details, things that we wanted to play with. So yeah, let's go. And a big part of the game as well is the combat itself.
Yes. And when the players see those enemy flags in front of them, they know that they are about to play in a fight. A
Right,
combat.
before we go in, actually, there is a couple interesting characters that's following Mario. let's talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, so aside the big Goomba that has been almost played with because of the rabbits and stuff, for the characters and the heroes themselves, so we have Mario, of course. He's a true hero. He's a fighter-like character in combat as well, so he's really strong almost everywhere. But we also have Rabbid Peach. She's a hot-tempered, quite fun of Mario, but hot-tempered rabbit, and a very strong personality as well. And Rabbid Luigi, the third one, he's a wizard-like type of character. He's really clumsy, naive, but at the same time he's quite dangerous in combat, and as the game progresses as well. So yeah, it's a nice cast, and this cast is the beginning cast. So as you'll progress into the game, you'll unlock new heroes. So you don't unlock the heroes at the beginning, you unlock them throughout the adventure.
Now, can we say what other characters there will be in the game as well?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So
The player
yeah.
will control 8 heroes. We'll be able to choose between 8 heroes at the end. So that will be the player's roster. And we really wanted to play around this contrast between Mario character and the Rabbids one, like in order to create the humor.
Yep.
So if there is something that the Rabbids learn from Mario throughout the game is how to become heroes. And Mario learns how to crack the joke.
So
Are we ready to look
we
at
go
some
for the
battle?
fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
let's
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
go.
definitely.
So you switch from exploration mode to battle mode this way. So basically when you see those two flags, you switch to battle mode. And you don't control anymore directly your characters. You control Beepo, little cursor you see in front. And this little guy, in fact, is telling you, you can tell him where to go and the characters will follow. So that's a big difference between the two. And for us, it was a good match, you know, between exploration and combat in terms of the feeling we have. So let's
as
go.
soon as you start the combat, a fly cam is showing you the battleground, but you can always use the Tacticam, which is a tool that will let the player observe the surrounding to decide what to do, the best move to take. And as you can see in the top right part of the stream, the mission objective, it's a rich area. So it's not really important to defeat the enemy there, but to really decide the best way, possible way to arrive directly at the objective. So the player will have two choices. Directly in front of the enemy, that seems a little bit risky, or moving a little bit on the right to use the cover and being protected by the attack of the rabbits. So what you see right now is Xavier, which is controlling the heroes. In this case, each heroes can perform 3 different types of action. As we are quite early in the game, right now we have only movement and attack. Later on there will be techniques, which is way more, let's say, an indirect way to deal with an enemy, and it's more magical. But the blue line is defining where the characters can move. And in this case, Xavier could, for example, go behind the cover in order to be half protected, or just go in front of the enemy.
So as soon as you press, the character moves. And like David said, we can attack, but we'll show first the movement phase itself. You can do whatever you want. You can move first, attack then. It's up to you to decide, in fact.
You can advance towards another corner, such for example as Rabbids Luigi is doing, or even better, you can move the cursor behind one of your teammates in order to activate what we call the team jump. And the team jump is expanding your area of movement, allowing you to go much further than your normal area of movement.
Right.
And this is also allowing you to fill the gaps, such as the small river that you can see in front of you. After that, you can choose, but there is no sequence, like?
Exactly. So basically here we just finished the movement phase, and now we can see in this fight that the enemies are positioned in a way to zerg you. They called Ziggies. Those guys don't have a lot of life points, but they're they dash you all the time. So it's good that I'm on the other side with Mario thanks to the team jump. So when you're ready, you press A, you attack, and what you may have seen just over the enemy is the hit percentage. So 100% means 100% chance to hit. If they are behind a half cover, full cover, it changes. So we'll see that just later on. So I'll continue with the attack here, and even defeat the enemy in the process. He's zapped out, and in terms of story, basically they're not dying. They're going back to the hub as white rabbits. So we're actually saving the rabbits
That's
here.
great. Then you feel good about defeating
Yeah,
these guys.
absolutely. That's the whole point, because I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but they have been controlled by a force. And by defeating them, you are removing this force from them. And they are part of the gameplay loop of the players, because they will go back to the Peach Castle, and the more you free them, the more they will build a structure that will help the player throughout their adventure.
So we saw there Mario was attacked, but he's behind a full cover, so the enemy had 0% chance of hitting him. But the cover did take damage, I noticed. So
Exactly. So it's actually something really important in the combat itself. There are actually, aside one that we have later in the game, no cover that is really infinite. Like, they have this amount of damage, and if they get destroyed, you don't have any cover anymore to defend yourself. So for example here, if I go and attack this enemy, I know I'm not going to hit it. It's 0% chance, but just to show you the damage on the cover itself, this is a wood cover, so in 2 hits it's going to be destroyed. And the one you see here next to Rabbid Luigi is a brick cover. So this one is a bit more tough, so 3 hits. So basically, that's really important in the game itself to use this. The enemies will do it, you will do it, so...
And this is cool because you can also use interactive elements in the battleground, such as the Rabbids pipe. The Rabbids pipe really helps you to go in other places where you couldn't reach just with your area of movement.
So when you use that tacticam, spot those pipes and use that to plan out your strategy.
Exactly. So that's why the observation part is important, and we gave this tool to the player in order to really study if they want to the battleground.
Definitely, it does count for you. You do have to explore a bit to really figure out that turn-based strategy and find out what the best advantages you have, especially in this new level and environment that you're encountering.
Exactly. Here, it's even we showed some gameplay yesterday at the conference. It was just the fight after. This one is before, like Davide was saying, we don't even have the techniques. But one thing here that is really important for us in terms of design and philosophy was you see the water. This is creating a gap. So it teaches you to use team jump a lot. But the enemies do not use team jump. Those guys are dashers. You don't have Globetrotter. Globetrotter is the second archetype we have. They do team jumps. But here, we really want to show the player, like, hey, you can protect yourself. They will dash you eventually because they will take the pipe by the end of the map, trying to rush you. But it depends because according to where you are in the fight, we never know what the enemies can do. But they should do that in this map because, again, we wanted to teach you this is the way you can play as well. You can reach bigger zones and reach new areas, but also you can go over gaps like water. And this is quite cool. And later in the game, you'll even have height. So if you go up there, you have an advantage in terms of damage. So it starts to build up, We start to put the ingredients together. And this map is 30 minutes into the game, so it's really a good map to start to get those things in.
Yeah, the player is still learning here.
Right.
So it's really up to them where to move. They want to go directly against the enemy and risking to be dashed, but they maybe could arrive at the objective sooner, or they want to take maybe a more safer route like the one we are taking right now, because we are moving, helping each other, using the protection of the corals.
Right, and you had mentioned earlier that the objective for this battle is really to get to this final checkpoint.
Yeah.
There are different battles where you actually have to defeat all the enemies.
So here, it's a tricky map. Of course, we're playing, we know pretty much the map, but for the player, it's going to be a first tricky map because they could take this as, oh, we like to defeat all the enemies. But the issue is that we have a lot of respawn, and the more you wait, the more enemies will spawn, and it's going to be very complicated. So here, it's a reach objective. You need to reach. One of your character needs to be in the zone, and this is something key for the players to do. And then we have multiple enemy objectives. We have defeat all, defeat this type of enemy, reach, escort, and those type of objectives throughout the game to really challenge the player again to do the right decisioning when it matters. So Rabbids Luigi is really close now. He's not close enough because we made it
not close enough to arrive
exactly.
at the mission objective.
Definitely, this is something that we've never seen before, really, with Mario, and he's pairing up with this mashup. But also, we have Mario for the first time really using a weapon, a projectile weapon, and
Yeah, Mario has never been afraid to take whatever power-ups are, available to him. So it's cool to see these new types of weapons that he can play with.
He's adapting to his surroundings.
Right.
Yes, plus they are very, very light-hearted and funny. Because the weapons in our game are not just there in order to damage the enemy, but they are also a tool to create fun, because you can plug additional behavior, such as you can glue an enemy on the ground. There is a particular enemy that is very powerful in using the techniques. You can freeze his face, so he cannot speak anymore, therefore he cannot use the techniques. There is someone very good at shooting. You can hink his face so he cannot see you and he cannot shoot at you. You can burn enemies so they are running with their bottom on fire. And there is also propagation. So if an enemy on fire is touching another enemy, will propagate. There are some crazy behavior that could happen within the battlefield, and that's what we call the domino effect. So you can chain multiple effects, and the output could be very, very crazy.
Also, when you finish the fight, you can go back, of course, to the zone in free movement and exploration mode. All the coins that you have on your battlefield is because when you destroy covers, you gather coins as well. So even if you hit an enemy behind a cover and the cover is destroyed, it's rewarding as well for the player. So you can go back and buy better weapons thanks to coins. But if we have a few minutes, we just wanted to show something as well here. Just a quick fact. You know, we went that way for the fight itself. But in fact, the most effective way, let's say advanced way, would have been to go that way. Even if it's dangerous, the first round you get, you know, dash and stuff. Second round, you really dash the enemy well. So a good strategy would be to put Mario on the right side. He's a good damage output in terms of his weapon. Rabbid Luigi is not really good with his weapon, but he's good with dashing. So you can put it in the front line, and then you go really quickly to the zone here. So yeah, we just revealed something for people when they will play.
Nice.
They know how to play the map now. But yeah, it's up to the player to decide. They can go front or go left, right, whatever they have in mind, they can go for it. Depends on the play style itself.
Because a good tactical game should give the player the choice to choose their strategy. So not only in terms of how you want to customize your character, which kind of weapon you want them to be equipped with, but also the plan that you want to take into the battlefield. So we didn't want for the battles to have only one possible solution, but multiple.
So, let's go to the Peach Castle to show the hub itself.
Yeah, let's take a look.
We didn't present it yet, although it's a big part of the game, of course. So, of course, it's a Peach Castle. It was not destroyed by the arrival of the Rabbids, so thank God, this is good. But the issue, or let's say the challenge for Peach as a princess as well, is that the castle will evolve as the game progresses. So as you progress, you'll see more stuff built by the Rabbids a bit randomly, or not randomly like this one, Battle HQ, to change your team, change your weapons, change your skills in the skill tree, access new worlds. So this one is the first one, Ancient Gardens. And you also have many puzzles around that you have to solve. And as you finish a world, you get new contextual actions and exploration as well, so you can progress and see other places that you couldn't go before. So this is key as well for the player to, go back to the hub and see what they could do now that have new abilities. So yeah, this hub will evolve throughout the game, and we won't be able to show today, the other worlds, but as soon as you finish a world, you can access a new one with this new ability, and the cannon takes you and then shoot you in the world itself. And we just saw an example here of a little puzzle that we have with the right coins that we have in the game as well. So we have yellow coins, red coins, blue coins as well in the bug zones. A museum where you get all your collectibles from the game. You can gather in the game. This one is still broken when you're at that moment in the game, but it's the washing time machine. That's what they use to come in the world itself of Mario. And it will be useful in the future. You can go back and revisit and get better scores in all the fights that you've done. And also other elements that here are teasing that the player will discover. New worlds here, etc., etc. So that's really an important part of the game as well, this hub and how it will evolve with the game itself.
And I do remember that the hub was one of the first things that we decided to do within the game, like really a point of contact for the player to really help me throughout the whole game. And I remember when we were told that we were about to work with Nintendo on a game that was featuring both Mario and the Rabbids, and we immediately understood that it was a lifetime opportunity. We worked really night and day in order to find something unique for the Rabbids, but as well for Mario. So as we are huge tactical fan, we said, okay, we should use them to propose something fresh, something new in the turn-based combat games. But at the same time, we wanted to stay true to the Mario universe. And therefore, we decided to mix those two different phases, but in a seamless way, like the combat and the adventure. And at the end, when we felt that we had a solid idea, we decided to meet with Nintendo. And I remember that we had only 3 weeks and a half. It was crazy, do you remember? To really prepare something. And when I finally met Mr. Miyamoto, I felt like he's the creator of my favorite game. It's the inspiration of my career as a game designer. And I felt like if I was divided like in two. So the passionate Nintendo player and the Ubisoft creative director, the urgency to ask for an autograph and the responsibility to present the game the most professional way.
Sure.
But at the end, the effort paid off because he told me that he was impressed, and he kept asking how come that we had Mario and Luigi in our prototype. But the truth is that even if we spent, we had only 3 weeks and a half to work on the prototype, we recreated Mario and Luigi from scratch, the model, the animation, the rig, in order to try to translate their essence in our prototype. And I think that this was the moment where we truly convinced Nintendo about our commitment and passion. So from that moment on, we kept meeting with them in Kyoto. It was an incredible journey, and Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle become really a work of love, a labor of love.
That's such an amazing story.
Yeah, I think you guys have a lot to be proud of, and I know that Mr. Miyamoto, he's hard to impress, and you guys have worked really hard, and I'm super proud of what you guys have come up with. I can't wait to play the full game.
And it's just beautiful looking with all the graphics and the different tactical style, but also the exploration of the game. It's a new style that we never really encountered before. So
We didn't sleep a lot these past month and years, but we're super happy to be here and talk about the game. It feels great. Like we were almost like in the cave, working on this game. And I think for the team, the whole team, dev team, all the studios, to be here today to talk about the game, show the game, finally, it's just super exciting.
Yesterday press conference was
it went very well, and
wall of
all the
emotion.
emotions we had on it was great. And I think now showing the game like that is just incredible. Thank you.
Awesome.